Thanks, folks, for supporting the show. Two in the Cooler, another episode, another excellent episode coming at you. If you want to support the show even further, you can actually do something nice for yourself, and that is to check out the top quality merchandise that we have got in our merch store at snackspot.se/creator/teespring.com. The link is going to be in this episode description as well as in our Instagram bio. We're talking hoodies, we're talking t-shirts, water bottles, bucket hats, mugs, fanny packs, all kinds of sick stuff. And I say high quality merchandise because with the t-shirts especially, this is not that bullshit brand that other shows and places are giving you, Gildan or whatever, and that they cost, super cheap, and then people sell them for like $45 a pop. No. Okay, number one, our t-shirts, very reasonably priced, may I say. Also, the material, tri-blend fabric, folks. That's Target quality. That's Target quality merchandise, and it can be yours. All you got to do is go to snackspot.se/creator/teespring.com. Check those out. Check everything else we've got out there. Again, the link is going to be in this episode description and in our Instagram bio. Get yourself something that's going to make you look as good as it'll make you feel. Folks, you ever drive around to 4 different grocery stores looking for lemon fruit chews so you can play a prank on your brother? Well, that's what I did today, and if you want to be a lot smarter than I am, you will use Instacart, because with Instacart you can get not just groceries, not just lemon fruit chews, but all sorts of your favorite products from some of your favorite local stores delivered right to your front door in as little as 1 hour. And the best part is that right now, Two in the Cooler listeners get free delivery on their first order of $10 or more. All you got to do is spend $10, and Instacart will deliver whatever you're looking for right to your front door. So be sure to check that out. All you have to do to get the deal is hit the link in this episode description. Make life a little easier on yourself and start using Instacart today. And if you're interested in advertising on this show or our twin show, Schemin' and Dreamin', or our newest show, Quested, the Dungeons & Dragons podcast, you can reach out to us at snackspotsports@gmail.com for details on how you can start reaching thousands of listeners in the Buffalo area and beyond. Podcasting has obviously boomed lately, and with that comes these large companies wanting to advertise on shows. Walmart has advertised on podcasts. State Farm consistently advertised on podcasts. McDonald's has done it. Tropicana, the orange juice conglomerate, those sons of bitches, they've all done it. And the reason is it's effective. And it's cool to see companies of that size move away from traditional media into something like podcasting because, it works, it's effective. My problem is it doesn't leave any room for smaller local companies to get in on the action, but that's why we're here. So if you're interested in learning more about all the benefits to podcast advertising, and believe me, you should be, again, you can reach out to us at snackspotsports@gmail.com for details. All right, couple false starts. Now the gun is off. We're back in it. Thank you.
Nobody to blame, but
exactly. That's what. Yeah. No. It's nobody's fault. It's nobody's fault. It was all a group decision. But anyways, thanks a lot for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, for sure.
Yeah. Well, the new EP's out. I listened to it a couple more times today in preparation for your coming here, of course. And, God damn, man. You fucking got it. You remind me a lot of our pal, P. Millie, because both of you have this thing where, first of all, your voice is like there's something there's a real power behind it when you're rapping that just people can't help but listen to it. That on top of the fact that your lyrics are unbelievable.
I appreciate that.
You are phenomenal. How often are you writing? What's that process like? And if you bring the mic just a little closer to you.
Yeah. This good? We good?
Yeah.
I write every day. I've been doing this since I was 12, and truthfully, it's really just like this is everything that goes on in my head. Like, there's really no equation to it. I love music, and when it comes down to it, it just comes out. It's all authentic. You see, that's me. Like, it's all me. And it definitely takes time. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, it's just like, it's easy. Like, I can just sit, like, it all came. But definitely putting time in and practicing, because I got to be able to like be vulnerable and know that, oh, it's not always going to come out the way I want it, and I'm not always going to write the bars that are the hardest, but like that's how I get the product that I get, is just putting the time in and keep doing me, you know?
Sure, putting a little pressure on yourself, getting it
Yeah,
going.
for sure. Like, even writing when I don't want to, like, I force myself. It's almost like an exercise, you know? A lot of times it's just creative will, like, it comes and I write. But sometimes you just got to force yourself, because sometimes you get the most beautiful stuff, like, when you just force yourself to do it. And you can really tap into, like, a whole new bag that you didn't know was there, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's the number one thing, man. You just gotta do the work.
Got to do it.
Because
yeah.
sometimes, I mean, like, it's, you know, I'm sure it's fun. It's obviously what you love to do.
For sure.
But it still works sometimes, man.
Right.
And you got to put it in.
And especially now, like, I have the platform, and I'm at a point where I really feel like if I keep doing me and rapping and doing what I love, like, I really have the opportunity to take this far. So at times when I'm like, oh, damn, like, I really don't even want to try, or, like, I'll be rapping and I'm like, this is terrible, and I'm really discouraged, it's like, just do it. Just do it. Because I know at the end of the day, it's going to be beneficial to me. Like, whether I get a 16 or a hook, or just like 4 bars that I write in my notes that I come back to, at the end of the day, just putting it in is going to be good for me in the end. So, yeah.
Well, it's a good perspective to have, because especially, like, you're somebody who it feels like some artists, it takes a long time for them to find their voice.
For sure.
It seems like you are really tapped into who you are, and that, like, you know what you want your music to be.
It's been a journey. I'm not going to sit here and act like I thought I did, you know, when I first started rapping, because I thought this was me. Like, this was just what I wrote in my notebook when I was a kid, and I was rapping it. How could it not be me? Like, how could this not be my voice? But I think this EP really is where I started to find my sound, like, started to find myself as an artist, because it was just like trial and error. My guys would be like, yo, you got to sing, or yo, you got to do it this way. And I was like, uncomfortable. But you got to put yourself in uncomfortable situations to figure out, you know, who you are and find your sound and figure out what you're meant to do. Because it takes time, though, for sure. But that means a lot for you saying that, because as an artist, like, that's one of the biggest things is, like, just finding your sound. Because once you hit that pocket, that's when you can really take it to other places, you know?
Absolutely. Well, I was blown away by it. And do you think that as you move forward and you try more stuff out, you get out of your comfort zone a little more? A big thing these days is people are mixing up genres a little bit. They're kind of doing different genres on albums and stuff. Does that seem attractive to you at all?
I mean, not really. I'm really just big on, like, being me.
Yeah.
Like, because the thing is with me is, like, I know that I'm talented in these certain areas, and it's hard sometimes. It's tempting to just, like, go that route that's, like, you know, I could rap about whatever. If you put a nice little spin on that hook, or if you get a DJ that can really bump a beat and cut here and cut there, like, you're going to make a hit. You know, especially with a platform, and if you have the voice, which I think I have, you can make a hit. But I do struggle, like, steering too far away from what I'm about, you know? And, like, as far as going in the booth with the purpose of making a hit, I don't think I ever really have. I knew after a couple of tracks, I was like, yeah, like, this can be a hit. But I don't think I ever stepped into the booth like, yeah, I'm just coming here to make a hit. I go there to vent, you know?
Right. That's a very powerful statement.
Yeah.
But that's where the best stuff comes from, you know?
Yeah.
It's just in you.
The truth. Executing the truth. That's what I got to do. So, yeah, just really, like, because, I don't know, I feel like, especially when TikTok started, you know, that's kind of where I got a lot of growth. When I started doing remixes, like, that's really where I got a lot of traction. When I did that, my stuff for the bills, and I would have people hitting me, and they were like, oh, my God, you rap. Oh, my God, you rap? And I was like, yeah, like, I've been doing this, but I never really showcased it because this is just how I vent. Like, this is just me. I don't want you guys to think I'm, like, switching up for any type of reason. So people really wanted to put their insight on what I was doing, if that makes sense. Like, they wanted to be like, oh, like, you should make a song like this. Like, you hear that song? Like, you can do it, because now people see I can do it. But that's how I feel. Like, I know I can do it, but it's not the same. Like, I would rather sit here for 4 years being me and hustling than, like, switching up and rapping about something that I don't really believe in just to break a chart real quick
Right.
and be like the young girl that made that song.
Like selling out.
I'm more about longevity, you know? Like, I'm big on that.
Yeah, man. That's the name of the game. That's something that is, I think that most people these days, specifically in music, but in a lot of creative endeavors, have a lot more focus on because, you know, before, we were talking about this with somebody a couple weeks ago, I think.
It's all a blur.
Before the internet and stuff, you really only saw people who were at the top. And then, you know, you'd have people who were up there for a while, but then when they went away, it wasn't like, oh, where is that person? It's just kind of like, because you have no way of finding that out. But now, it's so easy to find and hear all the cautionary tales, all the stories of people crashing and burning or just, like, losing everything. And, like, solid people. Like, it's not all, you know, MC Hammer. No disrespect to whatever his fucking song was. Can't touch this. But like,
that one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard it.
But like T-Pain lost all his money.
Yeah.
Because he was honestly because he was kind of caught sleeping. Like and people understand like it is about.
But then again,
now.
like that's the thing. He kept doing him though. You know, like he never steered out of that auto. Like you know, he's on that auto-tune bag. He's more making dance club hits. Like he never steered away. He's still making music, and obviously nobody's bumping that like bartender. Like nobody's getting down like that anymore.
But
that's a
but
really
his old songs
point,
are so good.
Oh my God, they're never going away.
Never
though.
ever.
They're never going away.
They'll get you going every time, Andy. I've seen you move your hips to that kind of, you know.
I don't think anybody's ever seen me move my hips.
I don't
in
think
any
you can
situation.
move your hips. Yeah, it's pretty. I've seen you.
Not even to T-Pain.
Get your knees going. You're big in the knees.
Yeah, most of my dancing, my knee work is actually pretty
very
exceptional.
impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah.
But you made an excellent point there though, because T-Pain is still T-Pain. Like right now, he's still a public figure. Like you can still like all the time. And you're right because he did fall in that ditch. But he was very honest about it, and he was still being true to himself.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
But he made hits too. Like, let's not.
Sure, before I mean, but people make hits and then
for sure they just
go away
because also not everybody cares about. Not everybody wants to be a legacy. You know, some people just know how to make music, and they're like, yeah, I got this song. If this can get me a bag, I'm done. Like some people want that, and that's perfectly fine in my opinion, but.
And it's interesting, too, because you talked about, you know, you getting, you know, kind of more eyes on you from TikTok in the first place. I feel like TikTok is a great example of that. Like, you'll see a video on TikTok, whether it's, you know, like music, comedy, whatever it is, that's good, and it gets, you know, 300,000 views, and you're like, oh, like, I bet you this person's really funny, and you click on their account, and every video before that maybe had, you know, 10 views, and every video after that has, like, 70, 80 because a couple people, you know, followed him, but they don't get likes because then now they're trying to force this content out that, you know, they think they can recreate, you know, the magic that already happened. Whereas if you have the mindset of it doesn't need to happen as fast as long as you stay consistent. And then, you know, when you finally do get to that point, you're never going to that's never going to be your peak, right? You can continue to grow and grow and grow. You're never going to have that one video that hits 300K and then all the other rest of your videos stay at, you know, 10 likes.
Right. Well, I'm going to say one thing about TikTok because I did have a crazy spree. Like about a year ago after I did my freestyle for the Bills and like I would do remixes and comment raps where people would like drop 3 words and I would just spit them. It was crazy. Like I would wake up with like 10,000 new followers. Holy thousands of views, likes, comments, like podcasts in my DM, like stuff like this. And this was before I released a song, ever. And now I'm like, my Instagram's a lot larger. I've actually lost TikTok followers. My TikTok engagement is terribly low and compared to what it used to be, you know? And in my opinion, my music is 10 times better. I mean, then I didn't even have a song out.
Yeah.
So you really, again, that's what you have to think about what you're going for. I was trying to prove to people that, all right, yeah, like I can really make music though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, these videos are cute, like 30 seconds of you rapping. And people thought it was dope, but I can really rap now, you know? So I try not to let that faze me too much because, I mean, it sucks because it's a great opportunity and a huge platform. But at the same time, it's like, it's wishy-washy, man. It's wishy-washy. And like, there's only certain things that can set you in stone. And I think my music might not get the same numbers that my TikTok views would get, but in my opinion, it's more about like putting my place. Like, you know, like I'm setting my 2 feet where I want to set them. But TikTok is fickle. Like, it can be dope for a while, but you never know. Like you said, like those people, they can have 1 million views, and then you check and it's only like a couple hundred likes.
Yeah, it's that.
I have a homie, you know the What's Poppin' remix where it's like, what's poppin'?
Yeah.
Yeah, the remix. My homie, he made that, and he has millions of followers, but like since then, we've talked about it a lot. Like, he's seeing the same thing. Like, have you seen any of his videos? Like, you know what I mean? And it's about how you got to utilize it. So
I'm on just a completely different side of TikTok than most people.
I feel like everybody's got their own avenue, but yeah.
It's a weird algorithm, man. It's the strangest
it's
algorithm
so
out there.
I'm telling you,
it's fascinating.
Home
So
improvement TikTok, lawn TikTok, a lot of stuff like that.
Like DIY or like
Oh,
no,
okay. Like
Fuck, I
move
wish.
that bus, like that kind of home improvement.
Extreme home makeover.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Man, that show was good.
I think there's a show on Netflix now called Extreme Home Makeover, but it's not real Extreme Home Makeover. It's fake. It's faulty.
Did you guys watch that Netflix documentary about Woodstock '99 that just came out?
Yo, we just watched that.
No, but I've heard a lot about
gotta
it.
watch it.
I'm
man.
excited to watch it.
It's some shit right there.
That was that. Like, I knew it was good because I put it on, and my fiance, like, as she was walking past the TV, like, stopped and sat down, and we watched the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
What is it about? Woodstock
'99. So
which happened after Woodstock.
which happened in 1999.
I never
figured
even
that.
heard of it before.
I didn't know about it either.
I was like, that's
Our
only a couple
cousins
hours
were there.
away. That's
Yeah,
upstate New York.
What was there?
Well, even the first one was wherever the fuck it was. Still.
I heard they're
North
bringing it
further
back,
away.
but
Really?
I don't know how you can after that. But
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be the most electric thing of all time.
Do you ever think like what would happen in that, like, Woodstock '99 now, but like if it was like, you know what I mean?
Well,
like the people in the world now, like.
Yeah, I mean, it would be crazy.
I'll tell you what I kind of thought of it though, because one of the big things they talked about in the documentary is how.
What kind of music was at Woodstock '99?
Oh, give me 1 second. Okay. I want to talk about that so bad, Matthew. But one of the things they talked about a lot in this documentary is that Woodstock '99 pushed aside the peace and love stuff and became this big corporate deal.
Yeah.
Which it was a huge disaster. But if you look at like Coachella right now, they're a big festival. I feel like they're a big corporate thing. I don't know a lot about that festival, but it's almost like Woodstock '99 just did it wrong. Like they were just kind of the testing ground. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But the one thing that was the major complaint is not really what was fixed by the music festivals that came after it. These music festivals did not become less corporate focused. They just turned it. Oh, sorry. I'm working out this thought as I'm saying
Oh, yeah,
it.
you're good. Take your time.
They didn't become less corporate focused, but they just made sure to have things there to be convenient for the patrons, the folks that were going.
Right.
So that they could still milk them for all the consumer cash they've got.
I would say the biggest change is like security and stuff though too. Because now there's no way you can't even get in with like this certain size bag. Those people were wilding out at Woodstock. Like you can't do.
But even like going in though, like they took all their water bottles and stuff, which was a huge problem.
Yeah, it was like a money thing.
Exactly, it was a money thing.
Well, I've been to giant music festivals like that. Actually, the one I usually go to was this past weekend. I was very sad to like see it on the internet that I wasn't there. And it is fucking crazy. Like there's rules to get in, but once you're in, there's no rules.
Yeah.
It's a free. I mean, it's 5 days you're there, and you sleep in a tent, and it's a lawless land. But it is so much fun.
So I had Woodstock '99, which is they had Kid Rock. Well, James Brown opened it, which was surprising to me.
Yeah.
And then Kid Rock, Limp Bizkit was like
classic.
Yeah,
you got to have Limp Bizkit.
You had to.
And then
in '99,
Jewel was there. Corn. Everybody was very.
That was
you
wild.
had to
People
see
were-
Yeah,
Korn.
that was wild.
That was when they did show that wide shot of the crowd.
I can't even imagine.
How many folks? How many folks were there?
$250,000. That's what they said.
250,000. That's
yeah.
crazy.
quarter
Maybe
million.
even a little more. It was wild, and they were all just like
crazy.
going insane.
I've been like
It was a huge disaster.
I've been
It
to a
was
concert.
that woman that
what,
was like
what was it? Well, how many days was it? Was it
it
like
was
Three.
It was 3
and
days.
they just didn't have any supplies for the folks
They
or
didn't
what?
Well,
anything.
yeah, they didn't have any supplies,
understatement.
and it was the venue was a military base, so it's all pavement, and obviously it's like the hottest weekend of the fucking year, and people are not allowed to bring their own water in. So one water bottle,
Yeah.
$4,
16 ounces,
and then it
4
goes
spot.
up each day because they're running out of it, and the people have no other choice. This one woman was like, she got trench mouth, like World War I trench mouth.
Yeah.
That's
I saw that.
crazy.
Dude, and the people were just so, at that point, like,
Oh, I'd been getting nasty.
no, people were disgusting. Bro. They were swimming in their own.
Yeah,
like,
well, they were
didn't.
jumping around in that mud, and it's like, that's not mud. That's shit. That's human
Yeah.
feces.
They're like, yeah, it's a mud bath. I'm like, nah, man. You wish it's a mud bath.
Here, I got to get all this mud out of my eyes. Piss on my face.
Nah, that was something. I couldn't.
What a snapshot of music at that time.
Right.
I feel like there's a lot of horror stories about music festivals because they're 2 for 2 on Woodstocks.
What do you mean? I thought the first Woodstock seemed to go very well.
Well, I mean, no, not at all. That was the whole thing. Was like way too many people showed up. Like the streets, like the highways were closed down because people were just leaving their cars there. They didn't have food and shit either. That's why it went on for like fucking a month because they couldn't get people out. They were just like, oh, we live here now. We inhabit this space.
It's free love, man. What are you gonna do?
They like the National Guard was like dropping
Free
in
love.
care packages for these people.
What?
Yeah.
Really? 'Cause,
Yes.
man. That is very interesting.
We got a family member that was there. Ask her
Well,
about
'cause-
that shit.
He was there.
We got a she that was there.
Oh, really?
Probably he too.
Yeah, probably.
Probably-
if he remembers. Sorry. It's our
No, we're talking about
uncles.
different folks.
Oh, we're talking about different folks.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Don't
I'll tell
worry.
you after.
Okay.
Shout out though. Yeah.
We'll never know.
No.
Nope.
Nope. It's a secret.
Yeah.
I'm just, yeah. They
Yeah,
got a
there's-
family
If
member.
there's one thing that the
Woodstock.
listeners should
you
know,
know.
is I don't like them.
There you go. We don't know, but he doesn't like them.
What?
Oh, nothing.
No, not our
but
family
like-
member. I was
okay.
talking about the listeners.
Oh, okay, got it. But
People listen. I love. Yeah.
I thought you were talking about your family too.
All right. Sorry. Apparently. It was,
because in the 99 documentary, they really make Woodstock 69 seem great. Like they show
Oh
all
yeah.
these videos of like people had their kids
Peace,
there.
love, happiness.
Like
those kids are dead.
People
Those
were
kids
like
are dead.
meditating in the grass,
Yeah.
and then they would just compare it to a picture of people passed out in the grass. And
You got to look up.
Oh yeah, like
They're
with that one piece of
propagandaing.
cardboard for
They're
Crazy.
propagandaing Woodstock.
I think a little bit, but I mean,
Well, because
why wouldn't you
Woodstock
do
was
that?
bad for because Woodstock was hippie season. Remember, they were anti-hip. The government was
The
anti-hippie.
government
at
was
the time.
anti-hippie
man.
at the
Yeah.
time.
Oh,
Drugs
man.
are bad.
You said it.
Yeah. We hate drugs. But speaking of, we talked a little bit about your music and kind of how you got kickstarted, and now you've released a lot more music. Have you been performing live at all? I think I saw you're getting ready to perform live, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, you're doing the. I always pronounce
Yeah,
it
the
wrong.
bow flow.
Yeah, the
Everybody
bow flow.
says
Yes.
it. I think I say it different every week. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. My apologies. But yeah. So I had my first official performance, I guess you would say, in July. We actually hold a Juneteenth festival. That me and a lot of like my homies that do music as well, put together themselves in Olean, New York. So that's where my first, I guess, official performance was. Small turnout, but it was still like, the cool experience for me. Feel the mic in my hand. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, like I've been doing this, and now it's like, it didn't matter if it was 5 people or 500. I was, ecstatic. But I just did a showcase at venue at the end of July. Unfortunately, I didn't place, but I did my thing, like I still did my thing. There's nothing I would really change about it. It was a great experience. And then, yeah, Bowflove, August 28th. Make sure you cop your tickets, DM me, all that, It's going to be a great time. There's going to be a bunch of super dope artists. And this is probably one of the biggest, deals for me in a while. So last year, I got asked to play. So they do this like annual softball game every year before the festival with a bunch of people, influencers and artists involved. And they just pulled me in. Like, I had a friend that was on a team, and they needed an extra girl, and they knew I was an athlete, and nobody really knew I did music or anything. They were just like, okay, she's an athlete, she's got 1,000 followers, yeah, put her on the team. I was like, okay. So I went, and I kind of became close with like Lindsay and everybody else, and I made a lot of super cool connections. So I pulled up to the festival, and I was just there by myself, like in the crowd. Got to see like Billy Esco and Jay Skis, like they headlined. It was super, super dope. So for me, this is pretty big, you know, like I remember when I got the email and they were like, LEALE, we want you to perform in this year's celebration. And I was like, damn, like, you know, that was one of those moments. I was actually on my way to an open mic night, which is the first time I ever like performed for anybody. So I take that back. And I got that email and I was like, yeah. Because last year I pulled up by myself just to support and just kind of network and be like, introduce myself to certain people. And it just proves that like the work, like just I didn't stop. And now they wanted me. So it's super cool. And I'm super excited. We're going to rock that stage. Buffalo Central Terminal. Make sure you're there. It's going to be a movie.
That's unbelievable. A year ago you were watching and now you're going to be. That's sick. Yeah. That's a cool story, man.
Yeah, that's definitely like. For me, that was a big motivator, you know? I heard that and I was like, okay, now I can't stop. That was the night I was dropping Motto. So that was the night I dropped that track. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, Motto's dropped. Let's go. Let's make a new song. Let's do this because I was ready. So we're in preparation for that now. I'm planning out my set and everything like that. Just I'm going to rehearse and all that. So I'm pretty excited. It's going to be a good time for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. I really want to go this year.
Yeah, you guys need to be there.
I know.
I got tickets.
Yeah, we got to come out and make it happen.
For sure.
It's going to be cool.
There's a lot of cool. I mean, when I went last year even, I didn't know what to expect because I had never been before. And I just knew a couple people I knew was going to be performing. But they have art, music, food. Like, there's multiple stages. So there's like 3 stages. I know they got Stove God Cooks pulling up this year. Don't Watch TV. They got a bunch of dope artists. But I'm super excited. It's a great opportunity, and I'm super blessed that they're giving it to me, for sure.
Yeah. Those are good folks over there that run that festival, man.
Yeah, no.
They're cool people.
Yeah, it's family. They've always been good to me, so. You know, it's hard. Like, when you're trying to make an image for yourself, I'm really young, and I'm in a vulnerable spot as, like, a young girl trying to rap in a city where hip-hop is really, really booming right now, you know? So it's a great opportunity, and like I said, like being a young female in the industry is a blessing but a curse. You know, it comes with its ups and its downs, and it helps me in many ways, but it also puts me in difficult situations sometimes. But they have always shown love from the jump, and it's nice to know that you have people that have your back. I'm big on that. Like just having a small circle of people that genuinely believe in you. That's why I got my people back at home. They all do music, and I think it's really important to have that. You need that. Because you can have all these people in the world that say, yeah, like, here's fire. Like, come get in the studio with me. I got beats for you. I get those messages all the time. But you got to be careful. And with me, my music is so important to me. And I feel like I'm in a very good spot right now. And I just got to keep pushing. I've had some really dope people tell me, and a lot of people that I care about, it's just like, the outside noise is always going to come. Like, it's always going to come. But you just got to keep your head straight and keep doing you, because it can get messy. Well, it can definitely get messy.
And it's difficult to start things, right? Like even when you said, you know, when you first started, you know, with, you know, rapping, well, actually, let's take it even a little farther back, because you mentioned earlier, like, you kind of got into music since you were 12. So are you saying, you know, you kind of started?
So,
like,
yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. That's take away.
So, I started writing when I was 12. So I lost my grandpa to cancer when I was 12 years old. I come from a split family. So, like, my dad and my mom are on 2 different sides. I split my time with them. So it was, like, a really hard time for me because I was never the kid that, like, I'm not very emotional. Like, I just really learned to hide a lot, like, push stuff down. I didn't like to be vocal about my emotions. So when I was 12, I just started writing poems, I guess. It wasn't really raps. It was just like, it rhymed, and I would be like, when I was like writing my poems, but I wasn't writing raps, and it was all about my grandpa, like my mom, like it was literally ventilation. Like I was not trying to be out here like rapping about what I heard on the radio. So then I think this was like around the time that, do you guys remember like the 10 Toes Down freestyles when all that was like popping, and like people would be in the back of their car like rapping, doing these challenges and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's kind of when I was like, I would see it on social media and I was like, oh, like that's kind of cool. Like, and I always wanted to do like social media. Like I always wanted to be an influencer of some sort. And I was like, I can take this. And I loved hip hop. Like growing up, I was always the girl that like, I played basketball. I liked rap. Like I was never, you know what I mean? And I put my poems to like these beats on YouTube. Bubba Got Beats. I think he has like all these different beats from back then. And I would just put them, and I never shared it though. I think I had them in my notebook for probably 2 to 3 years. And I'd be in my room. I have this blue binder. It's like a whole stack of loose leaf paper. And it was just like my little raps, And then I would start doing remixes and all this. But I never shared it because I was like, nobody knew I did it. I was the athlete. I was the straight A student. Nobody knew I was rapping in my room for 4 hours a night, And then one day I was like, I got like 8,000 followers on TikTok. I don't even know how. I was probably just posting weird like stuff. I don't know, 16.
You weren't even rapping or anything yet.
No, yeah. Okay. And I was like, I think I recorded myself in my mom's car rapping to one of those poems. And I think I sent it. This is how bad I seeked out for validation before I did this. I think I sent it to probably 50 kids in school, like on Snapchat. Me now, I really don't care what people think. I'm going to post what I do, you know what I mean? But I was so scared. Because I was like, this is, I come from a small town. You just sent them like
private messages just
yeah, I was like, what do you think of this? I was like, and they were like, yo, you rap? Like, they're like, what? They're like, what? That's fire. Do it. So I posted it, and I think it got like 100,000 views on TikTok. And then I just didn't stop after that. And to be honest, it didn't necessarily get better. That's kind of where it didn't get better. People thought it was dope at first, but then I would be like, I would do it for a couple months, and I was scared to go to school sometimes because I was like, I would post a remix, and I was like, I know these older kids are going to have something to say. I was like, because you can listen to them now. They're not the best, but they got the views then. But I just didn't stop. Now they all think it's dope, so.
And it's
the way it goes.
Now they all think it's dope.
Let me go real quick, Andy.
You do it.
It's funny how you got there because that's where initially I was going with that question is, like, when you start posting those TikToks and you're like, oh, and then people saw them and we're like, oh, you rap. It's a tough thing to do to kind of put yourself in that position, right? Like let people see, the different creative things that
for sure
you're going to do because people like different things. And it's tough to realize when you're younger that, it just because they don't like this doesn't like, I think about, for like, say the three of us are sitting in a room. If one of us was playing a song, we probably all wouldn't like every song that the three of us played. If it was,
okay,
like nobody, like people don't like everything.
Right.
So that's the thing, but it's hard to realize, especially, when you're at a smaller school and everybody knows everybody. And the second that comes out.
I was really spitting, like this was the beginning. And these were all like, these were deep. You can go back. I haven't rapped that deep. And since obviously I'm a lot more intellectual with my music now and I've grown and it's all still very authentic and raw and deep, but that was really the basis, like that was one of the harder times like growing up. And so everything that everyone heard was emotional. Like it wasn't really exciting thing. So that made it even harder, I think, because I wasn't like excited, like hyping everybody up when I was rapping. It was kind of like, oh, but it was cool because TikTok gave me the opportunity to share it with people outside of the people I know. And there's a lot of people that related to it. I think some of the coolest times I had on that little spree was like, I would get messages from kids and like comments from kids about them. Like, yo, this really saved my day. Like they would tell me like their stories and like how I saved their lives. Like, and that's when I was like, yep, this is what I want to do. I was like, my voice, obviously I love this and I know I'm talented, but if my voice has the opportunity to like positively impact people's lives like this, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take this for real. So that was where I was like, I didn't really care. I stopped caring about what people at school thought, because I was like, okay, you guys play football and you're gonna graduate, and it doesn't, you know what I mean? It's
your world and your whole perspective got a lot larger.
For sure. But not everybody understood that, and it took till recently for even like the people closest to me understand that, like my parents and stuff, because as obviously it kept growing, and the 30-second TikToks turned into like opportunities for songs and music videos, and I'm only 16, 17, and I'm networking with people here across the country, like this, that, and it's obviously concerning. Like they want to look out for me, like I understand it, and but yeah, my world got really big at a it was only 2 years ago. I'm saying like at a young age, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it happens fast too,
Yeah, for sure.
It's just interesting that you're able to have the perspective you have of what we were saying again about TikTok earlier, though, is like people will fall into the trap of like just trying to do whatever is popular or something like that, is because I have to imagine that there's a huge temptation. It doesn't sound like it affected you at all, but I have to imagine, generally speaking, there's got to be a huge temptation for people, like, if this thing works,
that's
then
what
just lose yourself into this. It's not really, even if it's not really you.
Yeah, I think that's what I was doing to an extent. My lyrics in my music was never steering away from who I was, but I was doing trends. I was doing remixes. I was doing this. And I got to a point after I released my first song, Come Up Feels, I was like, I really want to do this. Like, this is cool that it's got me here, but I really want to make music. Like, this is what I love. And it got exhausting. It got boring. Like, I like doing remixes and freestyles here and there, but that was just like, that got me to where I needed to be. But, you know what I mean? I'm trying to build my portfolio and like make my mark, put my place in this music industry, like as far as hip hop goes, outside of all that, because that stuff is there. You can go watch it, and it's hard. Like I did, you know what I mean? But the music is really where I wanna grow, and I've realized it's a lot harder. And that's why TikTok, I think, is easy to fall into, because it's so much easier to make 5 30-second videos when you know how to rap that could possibly pop off than like putting in hours in the studio and critiquing yourself and all that stuff and putting out a good song that could, just get so many streams or whatever and only take you so far. But it's just about consistency. At this point, I'm just like, after this EP, it's like, it's on go. It was definitely one of the coolest experiences, like putting this together and seeing like, yeah, I did that. Like I went from the kid that was making 20-second videos to, oh, she dropped a song, to project, you know what I mean?
So, and how exactly does that happen? So you have that idea, you get that mindset of like, okay, I want to actually sit down and make a full song, come out, with an EP, start dropping singles. Like, how do you go from, sitting there in your mom's car, rapping to a beat, to you have your own song? Is there, was there people that you already knew that helped you get there, or was it square one, we got to figure out how to do this?
Yeah. So I guess like after obviously everybody started to see like, okay, yeah, she's really doing something with these videos. I had a couple people that do like music in my town, like smaller people, reach out to me and like offer me to get me in a studio in front of a real mic, and that was really intriguing to me. I didn't know how I was gonna approach it, because I never sat down and made a full song with a hook and a bridge and all this. I didn't know what certain things meant when I got in the studio. So it kind of started there. I went to the studio in Olean and like just put my time in, and I practiced. I have a song, my first song that I ever wrote, I never released. And then after that, I just kept doing the TikTok thing, and a producer, DJ Payne 1, he's actually a pretty big record producer out in I want to say Minnesota, or Milwaukee, yeah. He actually reached out because I competed in a competition on TikTok, and he sent me a bunch of beats, and I started to find my flow, and then that's how Come Up Feels came. I produced Come Up Feels with DJ Payne, and from there on out, it was just like playing. I would do a 16 like every day, a hook, a 16, a hook, a 16. I would go with my homies and record it, and I didn't know what I was going to get, and I was still very in a shell. Like I would come to the studio, and I would have all this stuff written down and be like, nah, I'm not going to record this because I don't know how it's going to sound. But like I said, I just kept doing it. Even when I didn't want to, I just kept doing it. And the pieces fell together, and I just made more and more music. the majority of my portfolio was actually made, well, like, not the EP, but like Got It All, Motto, and Coming for Blood was made in my dorm room. That was probably like the biggest place that I had creative freedom, I guess, because that was the first time in front of a mic by myself. So I got a mic and an interface, and I just did my thing. I was in touch with enough producers where I didn't have to mix and master it myself. So I kind of got to the point where I had probably about like a whole folder worth of music, but it was like sometimes it was just a hook. It was like 5 songs, you know what I mean? And then it just kept growing. Like my portfolio kept growing, but that's when I decided to release a single here, release a single here. I had enough traction. I was like, okay, I want to do a project. But obviously, I don't want to do an album yet. Like, I feel like an album to me, I'm the type of artist where like an album's got to be, my debut album's got to be like a story. Like that's got to be the most put together thing that I do yet. So I didn't want to do album, but I was like, all right, I'm going to put out a group of songs that can all get their own spotlight, you know, like not too many tracks, but that showcase each part of me as an artist. Because I have this whole folder of songs, so we took a while to like pick which tracks were like right for it and what made sense where, and we had to pick the lineup and all that stuff. But I was like, let's just do 5 tracks because I want all these songs to get their spotlight. And I think it executed the right way. Not like, no pun intended, but I think it executed the right way. I wanted it to showcase every part of me as an artist, you know, like the flow, the rhymes, the ability to like, you know, put different moves upon people and really show them, like, be transparent, you know? So that's kind of, it just really is just consistency. And you have to not be afraid to step outside the box. Like, you can't be afraid. Like, that's the other thing with TikTok that I don't like. Because you can do something that really works and it makes you want to stay the same. Like, why would I want to change? If I'm getting 300,000 views on these videos doing this, why would I change? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I realized that was really like my biggest enemy. Like this whole time I'm getting all these followers, but it didn't mean jack. It didn't mean jack because I can drop a song and maybe 1,000 of them are actually listen to it. It didn't mean anything. And it wasn't helping me grow as an artist. But now, like from come up feels to truthful execution is really like, that's all it was. It was just consistency and like doing stuff that makes you really uncomfortable. And you don't have to like, you scrap a lot. Like we scrap a lot. I do some weird stuff in the booth and I'm like, okay, yeah, nah. But sometimes it's the coolest, like comes up with the coolest stuff. Like 245. You guys listen to 245 on my EP. I wrote that in probably an hour. Like I was walking on the treadmill or something. Like I don't even know. It was just one of those days I was really in my head. I'm really big on like getting my mind, getting my body right. And like sometimes it just all clicks with the music. And that was one of those. And like I have no idea like how I don't know. But everyone's like, that is one of the most creative pieces I've ever heard. And I was like, yeah.
And when you write that, do you have a beat in mind? Are you listening to a beat, or is it just?
Yes, it depends. Yeah. So like, I guess for that one, I was listening to a beat. I think I kind of had the melody in my head, like it's 2:45. Like I had the melody in my head before, and then I get beats from producers all the time. I have like a lot of people that are close to me that make beats. So like I have packs or sometimes I'll just go on YouTube or whatever. But that one I did write it to the beat specifically, but. Yeah, that's just one of those where I was like, and I called up Carney and I was like, yo, I don't know what you're doing today, but I need you to come to the studio because I need you to record this. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know how it's going to come out, but I was like, this is like, because it was in pieces. Like, it was like a puzzle. I had to put it together while I was in the booth. But yeah, we're coming out with a music video to that soon. We just finished the treatment. We're about to start filming this week. So that's like my first, besides Coming for Blood, like my first big music video too that we're going to drop. So
it's your whole perspective is just so it's cool to listen to because there's people build prisons for themselves, and the fact that like their success will usually come from taking one risk, and then when they're in that comfortable spot, though, that's when they're like, oh, I don't want to do anything because then,
can't get comfortable.
But you realized exactly that don't you say it in the song like you'll never
My
be
last track, comfortable.
Yeah.
Settling is definitely like one of the biggest demons, because life is so, especially in the world of music or athletes or even like podcasts, like everything, a regular job, your family life, it doesn't matter. It's so easy to get distracted by small wins or like small like beams of light in your life, especially when you work so hard. Like I worked so hard on this music, and like I say, like I was on the news for the Buffalo Bills, and like I could have just been like, okay, yeah, like this, you know what I mean? I could have just settled, but you just can't, because you're like wasting your potential,
It's quicksand, man.
Yeah.
It's a bed of quicksand. Stagnation is death. That's like a quote from Dune or something that I think about constantly.
Nice.
I know. I had to bring up Dune, but I do think about that quote all the time,
and
that's like exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
And don't get it twisted. Like I'll find myself like even on, it's by the day or by the week or by the hour. Everybody has those times where you're just like, yeah, no, like I'll not write for a couple days and I'll be like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? But everybody has that. But at the end of the day, it's like it's about how you finish.
Yeah, it almost is like exercising, like physical exercising, because like you hear about that like runner's high thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you just got to push through that.
Runner's
and
highs
that's where
are
some of the
real.
best stuff happens.
Math, complete math.
Well, let's say that they are real.
You won't catch me running more than a mile.
No, I ran
more than a mile.
I ran.
I lift.
What is it, gym class? Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I don't exercise.
Oh, you don't? I thought
No.
you were on a good little thing for a second.
Well, I
You
play
still-
a lot of hockey.
Yeah, that's something.
But I don't.
I
like,
saw that you guys play hockey. I played hockey too.
Just a kid plays hockey.
Andrew did a stint.
I was in novice hockey for 6 weeks to get out of church school,
There you go.
and it was a disaster. I cried 3 times, baby.
3 out of 6, 50% is not
3 out
bad.
of 6.
Not bad numbers.
Yep, not bad
numbers.
for me. Not bad for little Andy at that time, that's for sure.
Yeah.
One of them was not my fault.
Young
though.
Andre.
Yeah, young Andre. It was a big cry.
One of them wasn't your fault.
One of them I don't think was my fault.
Whose fault was it?
I don't know. Whoever shot the puck that hit me in the heel so bad.
Oh, yeah, that had to hurt bad, huh?
Yeah, I know those.
He was probably a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
No, you were
Ringer.
like 10.
I don't
You were
know.
a little
I
older.
can't remember. I blacked so much of that stuff out.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you going to do? But yeah, runner's high myth. Complete myth.
Whatever you say,
I don't
man.
think. Yeah,
No, I don't think it's a real thing either.
it's not. It's people are crazy. People like to run. I think.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
which is
Like to
also
run.
ludicrous. You know what the crazy thing is?
No, it's crazy.
It's not that I don't like to run, because
It's
I
crazy.
don't mind running. Like I'll going for a run. The reason that I don't do it is because it's just too much work. Like I'd rather just not go for a run. But if you can get yourself up and go for it, it's not necessarily runner's high, but
feels
it is good
good.
for you. Like
yeah.
you do,
Sure.
produce like natural endorphins where it's not necessarily like a runner's high, but I guess after you could say
yeah, you kind of like come down, but you
Nobody's
still
in
feel
the
good.
middle of a long ass run and it's like,
no, this
no. Like,
Well,
I think it's the lack
like
of
doing
oxygen to the brain.
Yeah, that's probably it.
yeah, you're
That's
just
definitely-
loopy.
That's really
Yeah.
it. And then after
Yeah.
you're just glad that you're still breathing.
Right. That's like you're just dying. You're just
Right.
killing yourself.
Yeah.
Like that's.
It's literally just
Yeah,
lack
yeah,
of
yeah.
oxygen. Yeah.
No, I like running on the treadmill though. I
Yeah,
like
I've
just
been getting
like
back into it,
oh,
but
when
I
it
don't
feels
know.
really like when it feels really shitty. I love that.
I bought a treadmill.
It feels
It got
good
taken
after.
from me.
It definitely does. I'm big on that because I was an athlete my whole life. So like I go to the gym almost every day of the week, and because I'm like big on the whole if you're physically like feeling right,
You'll
then
mentally feel right. I
yeah.
agree with that.
I
yeah.
get the most creative spurts after I go to the gym. Like I said, I wrote 245 on the treadmill. Like,
See, my thing,
Especially, well, are you like somebody that lives in their head a lot?
oh man,
Yeah. You need
Oh,
that,
man.
like, you need to kill your entire body, and then it's almost like,
yeah.
I don't know if that's how, like, regular people, like, think like that. Like, when it's like, you can just see everything, when your, like, thoughts are so clear afterwards
Yeah.
in that moment.
See, I'm kind of the opposite though. Like the reason that I love, like the reason that hockey is fun to me, is like when you're done and you're exhausted, but you're not exhausted alone. Like it's the camaraderie. Like you know what I mean. I
Yeah, that's
remember
more of
team
like
to
a
team.
team.
when you
yeah.
get like we would get off the ice, you'd skate for 2 hours, and then you'd spend 3 hours just sitting there doing nothing, just being exhausted for the first hour and a half, and then, you know, just shooting the shit for the second hour and a half, and then you're like, oh, okay, time to go home. Then you go to sleep. You wake up and do it again. Like, I think that, but I guess it's the contrary. Like, some people, I guess, especially when you're doing something like writing, like, you get, you know, that mental clarity, and then you're like, okay, I can put all this on paper right now, or like I can think through this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm the opposite. I'm like, I get that clarity. I'm like, oh, like, I'm just hanging out with these people that, you know, we just worked our ass off together. I don't have to think about those things. Like, I can just enjoy myself.
I
I can just relax and be present rather than be
because you went
up
through
there.
that with other people.
Yes.
You know? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It's
you're
a
not
lot
alone
about
in
being
that.
present, I think. Like, you get there.
That's true.
Yeah.
Being present's the hardest thing to do, man. But it's
Yeah, be where your feet are. It's hard. But I think, like, for me, just after I've seen success, it's like I've got such this. Trust me, I'm far from perfect. I'm still young. I'm still trying to figure things out. And like you said, like, finding my voice, that's a huge compliment to me, because I feel like I'm still trying to find myself all the time, you know? But, like, I'm big on just, like, hustling. I don't like wasting time anymore. I'm at a point where I have so much I want to do and so many things I want to accomplish, where it's like I hate the feeling if I don't wake up by a certain hour, I feel like such a bum. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta get to the gym. I gotta do this. I just gotta do things to get my mind and my body right at this point, because once you start doing it and you see results, it's really hard. That's with everything, though. If you start seeing results, it's really hard to, like, set back. You beat yourself up even more because it's hard. And you have to, as an artist, you really have to learn how to cope with highs and lows. That's another thing I've learned.
peaks and valleys, baby.
You got to learn how to cope with it, because a lot of times, like when you drop an EP, it's so cool. Like, when you drop music, like, that's fire. Like, everyone's tuned into you. You're reaching out to all these people, and it's hard when it's like, that's why you have to have that mentality of never stop working. Because if you're the type of person where something like that happens and then you can just chill, it's going to kill you. When you, like, right now, like, you know what I mean? Nothing is blowing up for you because, like, you didn't drop. Like, you have to learn to, like, be consistent so that you're good with both. You know what I mean? You have to be mentally, like, comfortable with not being comfortable, if that makes sense.
Do you think part of that is, like, because you're not too worried about what you did necessarily because you're so focused on the next thing and,
Right.
like, just continuing to move forward?
Yeah, like, for me, yeah, I don't like to dwell. And when I first started, it was easy to, because it was all so cool and so fresh. And it still is. But I'm not there yet, you know? Like, I don't want to, it's like, okay, guys, yeah, it was cool. Like, my parents will be out and they'll be talking to people about this video I did a long time. And I'm like, all right, yeah. Because I'm just the type of person that's like, it doesn't matter because I'm not where I want to be, you know? I know there's so much more, and I know it's there, like, so I'm just like, okay, like, on to the next, you know? And it's hard because you have to be proud of yourself, though. Like, don't take that the wrong way, because it is important to celebrate your wins. It is important to acknowledge your hard work. It is, because you need that for your mind too. But I don't know. For me, it's just like on to the next. And, like, I like to think about it this way. This is super cool. And, like, this is what, sometimes when you're not, like, proud of yourself, or you're down about, like, what you've done, you got to think about what you 2 years ago would think, you know? Like, me in my mom's car, sitting here right now. You know what I mean? But that like, it makes you acknowledge your successes, but it also makes you, okay, don't stop, because where's the next share going to be?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, what's the next drop going to do? What's the next performance going to be? So it's give or take, but you just got to be self-aware. That's why I'm also big on, like, building your mind and all that, because you got to be
Mentally tough.
Yeah, and I was forced to grow up young, like, when I decided to do this, but there's also a reason I started young, is because, like, I feel like I've always been kind of had an older mindset when it comes to everything, because I don't really care about what people think, or, like, you know what I mean? And as far as my music and everything goes, so, yeah, gotta be mentally tough.
Well, Andy.
I just want to
Go
ask
ahead.
one more
Yeah.
question. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I had
Just
such a
segue.
yeah.
But what things do you do specifically to like mentally build yourself up?
Yeah. It's a lot of acknowledgement. You know, I listen to like a lot of things. I listen to a lot of podcasts and a lot of other artists that were in similar shoes. And I like to build knowledge on the people before me that did what I want to do. But you also have to be self-aware and be in the present, because it's easy to get distracted, especially like when you're living in a world where you have a lot of people around you that have a lot of other things going on. You got to be like, okay, but like take it in small steps. Because I'm an overthinker. Like I'm really bad. Like I'll be like, I could be sitting here right now thinking about what I got going on, like Buffalo, like, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. So definitely just like taking everything in small steps and just being aware of what you got going on right now, with the intentions of working for what you got going on in the future, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. I agree with it. I feel like we're super lucky to be able to have podcasts and things like that, interviews, whatever, just stuff from the internet, where we can hear these people who at one time were in the positions that like, or who are now in the positions that we are like working towards.
Right.
Because, I mean, it's super helpful. I find it very helpful, especially with like negativity, because when I hear people talk about how certain things affected them negatively from a mental standpoint and kind of what they do now to counteract that and how they got through it, I mean, that I almost can't imagine working things out without having that knowledge that just by happenstance you hear from them. Somebody just drops it on a podcast randomly or something like that. It's a big deal.
You got to keep learning. You have to keep learning, because that also helps you move different, you know? You want to make sure that you're being your best version of yourself. So, like, keep learning and don't be afraid to hear people out. That's the other thing. I hear from a lot of bigger, powerful people. Like, I've talked to a lot of artists in the area and people that are a lot older than me and doing things that I want to do. You have to be open-minded, but also keep your guard up, you know? That's kind of what I'm big on, is, like, you have to learn to be vulnerable, but not too vulnerable, especially as a female in the music industry. It's just how it is, you know?
Yeah, it is. It's a double-edged sword. It's a weird thing. I think that's another trap that's very easy to fall into when people are starting out, is like share, and then you realize, hey, maybe that's not a great idea. Maybe that's going to come back to bite you.
Maybe we shouldn't share this.
Maybe we shouldn't share.
Yeah. It's like the,
No, that was close.
Yeah, it's definitely a pullback thing. Because, I've had a lot of people that have been like, pull up to my studio session, you know, I've got this, that. And that was when I was at school by myself, and I'm just kind of like, you're cool, like, I met you, but when it comes to my music, I'm very, you know, and it's exciting, so it'd be easy to jump the gun. When you hear some of the bigger artists in Buffalo, and they're like, like, you're hard, like, pull up to them. I'm like, you know, it's hard, but I'm glad, like, I just trust my gut. And there's gonna be more opportunities for me in the future. That's why I just had to keep thinking. I was like, if it's really genuine and people are paying attention to me and locking in with me now, if it's really genuine, it's gonna come the right time, you know?
Yeah.
And you're incredibly self-aware, which is a huge resource that I think a lot of people are lacking.
Yeah, you have to be.
Do you think you're self-aware? No.
Just answer for you.
Yeah.
He knows the answer better than I do.
Exactly. That was good, Andy. That was really clever. On that note, we do have to do the Who Would Win of the Week.
Let's do it. We'll get into the Who Would Win of the Week. Thank you again for doing it with us.
Of course.
It was a real game time decision. After I let a stranger into the building.
Yeah. Before you say this, have we done one of these characters before?
No. I'm
good.
Positive.
Because for whatever reason, right as I said that, I had this image of. Go ahead.
No, I got him. This week's Who Would Win of the Week is Cardi B versus Miss Piggy. That's what I said, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
It is
Cardi
now.
B versus Miss Piggy. Yeah, it's locked in now.
He wants to talk. He wants to talk.
Me and Cardi B, we don't get along.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Her
So
Pepsi commercials.
that's what I heard.
Yeah, I think I was going to say, I think there's been multiple times on this podcast where I've talked shit about Cardi B.
I don't remember that.
How many years ago were her Pepsi commercials? I'm
Yeah,
pretty
weren't
sure
they
they're
like
still
years ago?
on.
No.
Yes.
No. When she's got the Pepsi nails.
Oh my God! Wait
Those
till the
aren't still
first
on.
Sunday Night Football game of the year. You will see Cardi B cracking a Pepsi. Yeah, with those long
maybe
pigtails.
that wasn't because I think I was working at the CBS station.
She's
when
been
those went on.
been doing it for a while. She continues to do them.
If you say so. But Pepsi is gross in the first place.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Coke
we
all
don't
the
drink
way.
Pepsi.
No, we don't. That's why we got cherry Coke.
Pop in general, just drink a water, unless it's Mountain Dew.
Oh, okay. That's the
Yeah.
one you're going with?
Yeah,
Well,
Mountain Dew's
Baja
delicious.
Blast, baby?
Yeah.
Okay. But talk about this fight. Now, you said that you had an idea already, like, before we started
Yeah.
going on who it was going to be.
Well, here's the thing. Well, Miss Piggy
Yeah.
is not somebody that you want to fuck with.
No, that's true.
Like, that's the most obvious thing that anybody could ever, say. And my big thing about Cardi B is I don't think she's that intelligent, maybe.
She's intelligent. From what I have heard, she's intelligent in, like, very specific ways. Like, she might not be able to do trigonometry, but who amongst us can?
The guy sitting here who got a 92 on his trig regents.
Oh, wow.
What's up? Let me
Damn.
drop a little knowledge on you.
I didn't know that, and it's very
Exposed.
upsetting because I failed the trig regents.
Exposed.
Yeah.
You got that on the first time you got it?
Nope.
Okay, I didn't think so. That's
You
a
know what they
retake.
say?
That's a retake score, buddy.
You know what they say?
Hmm.
Fourth time's a charm.
Oh, 4 times.
Yeah, but I was
Why?
the Quattro.
Why did you fail every other
0 for
time?
3.
How do you fail 3 times and get a 92?
Because I decided it was my senior
It was
year.
time.
I decided,
Mom hired 4 tutors.
yeah, it was it was
Every
my
night of the
senior year. I took it for the first time in 10th grade. I got to senior year. I said, you know what? It's time to make something happen here.
I think I got like my second time I took that. I think I got like a 70 or something, and I was like, good to go, baby.
The second time I took it was like one of those Christmas time. You take it like in January.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I got like a
that's-
36 on it. Like I walked into that thing blind. I was like, let's see what happens. And then,
The
put my head down.
The lowest
went to
score
work.
I ever got on a test was just a regular test. It was for the college comp English class, and I got a 23.
College will humble you.
No, it was in high school, but it was like
Oh.
it was like called
I was about to
college
say,
comp.
college humbled me.
But I got a 23 because
With,
I answered Batman for like most of the questions.
I
was just having a good time.
I dropped that class, moved to
Yeah.
film studies. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Way better English credit. Yeah, I did that on the AP World History exam. I like that whole like thesis you got to write at the end. I wrote on a hockey game that we had played in like earlier that week because I didn't know what it was about.
There you go.
I do miss taking tests for that reason.
Like,
Ugh.
well,
You should
but
write whatever
when
you
you were
want.
when you're taking tests at the time, it's very stressful.
That's true. But yeah,
Until
we're
you
just-
decide that it's not stressful anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, back to this.
Back to this. Listen, just straight up here, Miss Piggy. She's karate. Miss Piggy is karate. Everybody knows she's karate, but she's also made of felt, and we've already
We're
referenced.
talking fist fight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, but
And well, hold on. I didn't. We've
Well-
already referenced Cardi B's nails. I mean, those are felt cutting nails, man. Those are like fabric scissors.
I don't think. I think
She got the Joanne fabrics going on.
He
man.
has spite behind his answer.
He's got spite in his heart.
yeah.
It's not healthy to carry that around, kid.
I just think that she's made of. She's pretty much unbreakable. Like you're not gonna hit her. It's not gonna hurt unless
interesting.
unless you rip her. I do agree with that, but you would have to rip her. I think that Miss
Oh,
Piggy.
yeah, you're right.
I think that Miss Piggy could just sucker Cardi B in and be all nice and oh my god, nice Miss Piggy. Like I love you so much, Cardi B. Whack, whack, whack.
That is
Yeah.
true. Because Miss Piggy is good at
1-2
Playing
McGregor,
both sides
3-4
of the
Mayweather.
coin.
Yeah, Cardi B's passed out on the ground. Miss Piggy steps over, cracks a Coke right over her face, yugs that shit. That's all, folks.
Yo, if they make that the next commercial, you better get your bread for that.
You know what?
They better run you your check.
Coke should do that. Coke should have Miss Piggy in a commercial.
There you go.
Miss Piggy and a bunch of polar bears beating the fuck out
You
of
could
Cardi
have
B.
Cardi B with her Pepsi, and then
Yeah.
she finished her.
it
cracks
writes
Coke.
it writes
It writes
itself.
itself,
There you
as
go.
they say. We own that now, which is good.
That's what I'm saying. They better
Yeah.
run the check.
What do you think?
Man, I think think I'm on Miss Piggy's side. But this is why. This is what I'm thinking, okay? She's like an OG. Like, she's been around. You know what I mean? Like, she's been around for a while. She was like the original Miss. Like, all the attitude and that type of, like, you know what I mean? She's the OG. Like, she brought that to the table. And I also think, like, yeah, I feel like Cardi B be easier to sucker in. With Miss Piggy, like, I think that definitely could happen. Yeah.
Cardi B would eat it up, Miss Piggy.
Because also, if you think about it, like, Miss Piggy, like, for her rep, like, I feel like that will work. And, like, Cardi B's got to play it nice at first, you know? Like, she's going to play it nice at first. Like, it's Miss Piggy. But, yeah I'm team Miss Piggy for that one.
I didn't even think about that, but I bet you deep down Cardi B is afraid of Miss Piggy. Like, Cardi B thinks she's, bad and all this, that, the other thing.
Uh-huh.
But she knows that there's only a few people in the world that could humble her. Miss Piggy's one of them.
The OG baddie.
Mm-hmm.
The longevity argument that you made is what is pushing me over the edge. I do think that Cardi B, under typical circumstances...
Physically, probably, but I feel like it's more than that. Miss Piggy definitely a scrapper.
Yeah, we've seen her fight a lot. But Cardi B also, like, working in the strip clubs and stuff, like, she's had scraps of her own. Like, she's been through it herself.
Yeah, but not like Miss Piggy has. Miss Piggy was running those
strip
clubs. Miss Piggy was running those strip clubs, and she was letting Cardi B get her ass beat to toughen her up a little bit for when one day Miss Piggy could step in and just show her who's boss.
That is
who's
accurate.
The queen of all queens, Andy. Miss Piggy. Lock that in for my answer.
Yeah, I'm team Miss Piggy.
Yeah, I said that. Clip that.
Can I get it on a T-shirt?
Oh, no, that's clipped. That's been clipped.
Yeah, we can get that on a T-shirt for you.
Speak.
Yeah, with the Coke, like, well, yeah. Or if you could get her standing over Cardi B.
Yeah, standing. 1 foot on Cardi B's ass.
We need merch.
Drinking a Coke.
Just one of those, like those velvet paintings they have of, like, Jesus playing baseball and stuff? Like, that's the one that I want.
Yeah.
All right, you guys have persuaded me, man. Even with the nails and all, I think 3 across the board for Miss Piggy. That's just the way it's got to be.
Wow. So vote on that on Instagram on Friday. Who would win of the week? Shout out to Miss Piggy. I would love to see her beat the shit out of Cardi B. All right. Before we wrap up here, we talked a lot of music. You've got, we talked about the event coming up, but just for people one more time, where can they find your music that's out now? Where can they find tickets to this concert, August 28th? Tell her, give yourself a little plug.
Yeah, for sure. So you can follow me on all social media at It's Leale, ITZLEALE. And then all my music is on all platforms, Spotify, Apple Music. Make sure you run that. My EP, Truthful Execution, is out now. Leale, Leale, all caps. Make sure you put it in all caps. And, Boflove is August 28th, 2 to 8 o'clock. I'm probably going to go on around 2 to 4. I'm an early slot. But you can message me on Instagram for tickets. I can deliver them personally, or you can also purchase them online. So, yeah, make sure you use code Leale at checkout. And, yeah, we got big things coming. This is just the beginning. The EP was dope. I appreciate you guys for having me, but yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, thanks a lot for coming on.
No,
we
for
really
sure.
appreciate it.
I'm glad I did. A lot more coming soon. So
there always is,
music
man.
video coming soon.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
We got 2 music videos coming out. 245 and Patience, which was definitely a fan favorite. The track was definitely because I tapped into a new bag with that one. So those are 2 music videos coming out. And also I don't know when this comes out.
It comes out tomorrow, so you got to be careful what you say.
This podcast will come out tomorrow?
Yeah, it literally comes out tomorrow morning, yeah.
Okay. So make sure you tune into my Instagram. I have an announcement this weekend, possible contest giveaway type thing. So, yeah, a lot going on. Make sure you tune in with me. And make sure you follow them. You probably already do, but yeah.
You'd be surprised. People don't like us as much as they say they do.
People don't like you as much as they say they do.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that too.
And nobody likes Emily. But
what?
Yeah. Thank you for coming on. Again, it was a blast. It's always fun to get in here. Check that shit out. It will be in the show description.
Oh, yeah.
You can find all that stuff there. Andy, I love you.
I love you too, kid. Let's get out of here. Thanks, folks. Thanks.
I appreciate you.